The Sega Master System. The challenge will always be there.
Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again. And this time we're going to look at game number 12 in R20 from the Sega Master System series. And this is the first game to feature the monkey-looking boy Alex Kidd. And this is called Alex Kidd in Miracle World. This is one of the dumbest covers, box art for the Sega Master System, but it's a fun game. Like I said, you control this monkey-looking kid named Alex Kidd, and this is the first game that starred him. I thought maybe The Lost Stars was the first game, but no, this is. One thing you'll definitely notice about this game is that the controls are a bit on the touchy side. Takes quite a while to get used to it, but it's a fun little adventure. The gist of the game is that you are from the planet Ares, and you learn to break rocks with your fists. And that's what you do. There are rocks and there are boxes with stars on them that have items. There are also boxes with question marks. They might hold something bad, so if you're not sure whether or not you should break it, probably shouldn't. But the usual thing that will be in those boxes is money bags, and they have currency that is called a Baum, B-A-U-M, and you can have 10 bombs or 20 bombs in the bags, and the smaller bags are 10 bombs. But there will also be skulls on some of the boxes. And if you break those, you will be paralyzed for a couple seconds. But this is a cool little scrolling adventure, you know, like Mario, or Super Mario Brothers. There will sometimes be boxes with a skull that you can touch instead of just punch. And if you touch it, then some Grim Reaper will try to follow you around. So do not touch that if you can help it. But there are several different stages, and it's a kind of long adventure. Your goal is to beat the Janken King, and Janken is Japanese for the paper, rock, scissors game, and you'll have to play that a number of times because you will have to face the king in that type of combat, and you will also have to face his 3 minions, which are humanoid paper, humanoid rock, and humanoid scissors. And even when you win, they're sore losers, and they want to cheat, but that's later in the game. You really need a crawl option in this game, and they don't give it to you in this game, and that kind of sucks. It's present in other Alex Kidd games. There will be times when you go into the water and you swim around. You have infinite oxygen. Don't worry about running out. And you just press on the directional pad to move around in the water. And those light green blocks you can break with your fist. Touching any enemy, brushing against any enemy by a pixel just about, will instantly kill Alex Kidd. When you run out of lives, the game is over. But there is a continue feature. However, it will cost you some of your bombs, B-A-U-M-S, the currency. You'll need to break that skull block, and it'll paralyze you briefly if you want to kill that guy. Sometimes he's blocking a little transporter that'll lead you down to a lower area, but not there. See that little white square with a black square inside it? You need to touch that to end a level. And there we go. And we'll go to the next stage. There are 17 levels or stages or whatever they want to call them. And there will be shops sometimes. I love that motorcycle. It's got a name to it, I can't remember. Suko Paco motorcycle. And you can plow through enemies and blocks. There is also a, I think that's a power bracelet or something. I can't, or maybe it isn't. Maybe it makes you jump higher. I can't remember for sure. But there are other things that you can collect, and we'll look at what they all do later on. But yeah, you can plow through blocks, through enemies. One thing you want to avoid is those red circles. You run into one of them, and then you will lose your motorcycle. Well, there you can't really help it. And here we have our first boss battle. This is Stonehead. And there are definitive ways to beat each boss. This first boss, you go with a rock for the first fight, and then the second time you use scissors. And you can use this every time, the first time you face this boss. So we'll select the rock, and we'll just wait there. And I beat him. It says, "Darn it, I lose over Alex Kidd," but it's actually what the boss is saying. And then we'll do this again, and this time we'll select scissors. Now you see you can select the different hand signal with Alex Kidd by pressing up or down. You can select paper, rock, or scissors. There we beat him, and we collect. It is a rice ball, and Alex Kidd is eating it in between stages. And we start this stage by being underwater. There are certain items that you will want to collect over the course of the game to be able to advance further. And you can punch parts off of this octopus's arm. But be very, very careful, because like I said before, just brushing one pixel against an enemy can kill you. There is a continue feature, and we'll look at how that's performed later on. But it'll cost you 400 of your bombs, or no, 800 of your bombs, B-A-U-M-S. And there, that octopus was guarding that little lower area. Sometimes an octopus will guard it, sometimes that big frog guy that we saw earlier will guard it. If you want to make sure you hit an enemy, it doesn't hurt to wail on the punch button. Yeah, this was one of the more memorable games for the Sega Master System, and this is the first game for the in the Alex Kidd series. This was followed up by an arcade release and I think a Sega Master System release called Alex Kidd The Lost Stars or something, and it was not very good. This is definitely better. And then I think this was followed up by Alex Kidd in Shinobi World and Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. Enchanted Castle might have been just a Sega Genesis release. I didn't really care that much for it. I like the music in this game. It's very very peppy, very fun. And we see the rice ball to the right. There is a extra life that scorpion is guarding. I don't think I'm going to bother with it. You'll see an extra life icon here and there. You might be able to buy one in some of the shops. Yeah, the jumping, the speed at which Alex Kidd can move, and you just go from 0 to 60 just by nudging the joystick. The controls are very, very sensitive. But you just touch the rice ball to complete the stage and go on to the next one. And we will eventually have a total of 7 boss fights. And for the first boss fight, you select rock, then scissors. The second boss fight, you select scissors, then paper. Then the third boss fight, you select rock, then scissors. For the fourth boss fight, you will select paper, then paper. The fifth, rock, then rock. The sixth, rock, and then scissors. And the seventh, paper and paper. And you will win every time. If you screw up, they might change the icons that you need to select. So try not to screw it up. Seeing those yellow blocks, I keep wanting to bump them with my head from below, like Mario in Super Mario Brothers. Whoops, that was clumsy. But yeah, I enjoy a lot of things about this game, but it is frustrating, the controls, to try to get used to them. If you have a ledge that you need to jump on and there's a bunch of blocks in the way, you'll need to break away some of them so that you can have a place to jump onto. And again, wail on that punch button if you don't feel comfortable about accidentally touching an enemy. Want to make sure that you destroy them. You cannot break the red circles. They are there primarily to disrupt whatever vehicle you try to use to plow through the level quicker. There might be a few stages where using a vehicle might not be a great idea. And this guy will give you a, I think it was a pedicopter or pedicopter. And you collect it first before you get the rice ball. And you will be immediately granted use of the pedicopter here. It'll stop if you hit your head on something, on some sort of block, and you'll drop into the water, like here, which isn't deadly. You'll just have to swim underwater. But there will be some areas where if you have the pedicopter disabled, you can fall into lava or something and die. And again, those skull blocks, if you punch them, they'll paralyze you just for a second or two is all. But Alex Kidd trained on the planet Ares to learn to break rocks with his fist. And he eventually learned that the city of Radaxian was in danger. And a dying man gave Alex a piece of a map and a medallion. Alex's father is known as King Thunder, and his brother is named Igul, and he is the ruler of Radaxian. And here we're going to buy another, is that a pedicopter? You can also buy an extra life, and then other items that you can collect are a telepathy ball, which allows you to read what the boss is thinking, what move he wants to make. So that's very useful. Although using the codes that I gave you about which which item or which icons you want to use is more helpful. And note that you can shoot with the pedicopter to destroy blocks, but you cannot destroy the red ones. You can destroy enemies, and you can destroy the yellow blocks. You are not timed in how long you can use the pedicopter. You will just run out of it when you smack the top of your pedicopter on something. Or if you just run into the red blocks. And the music in this is really, really strong. It's a great game. Or you can smack your head on the gray blocks to disable the pedicopter. And here you must punch a bull, or no, it's an ox. Like I think it's like 6 times, maybe. Is that the bull saying? Or no, there's a guy in the doorway that is saying that spiel. And then you collect the rice ball and continue on. And that 7 indicates that that's the 7th stage. There's a total of 17 stages, and there are 2 really labyrinthine stages that take place inside castles. Again, when you run out of lives, and you only get 3, or you only get 3, although there are 1-ups that you can purchase or sometimes find. When you run out of lives, there is an option to continue. And to do so, you need to have 800 bombs. And you need to wait until it gets to the game over screen. And then you need to hold up on the controller and press the 2 button 8 times. Then you will be allowed to continue. And we'll look at that later on. Yeah, there will be some areas where it looks like you should be able to squeeze through or jump through, but you can't, and that kind of sucks. You really need a crawl option. A crawl and a punch would be nice, and I think they fixed that in later Alex Kidd games. And there below is a blue circle with a star in it. And that is the telepathy ball. Now, sometimes there are hidden ways to break open walls. And I moved forward at the bottom, and it opened up a little bit of a path for me, which was nice. Oh, that was close. I could have gotten touched by that and killed. Yeah, this is a cute game. It's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, the movement controls are way too sensitive for my liking. Sometimes the timing of avoiding being hit by that flame, that circling flame, is a little tough. There is a way to squeeze into a tight area. You can like run forward and then press down, and you'll kind of slide into that tight area, and you'll gradually inch forward bit by bit. And we might look at that a little bit later. But you move forward very, very slowly that way. It's kind of dumb looking. I hope you enjoy your upcoming weekend and the Super Bowl. Hope hope you have some kind of lavish plans. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of Chinese food just because I like Chinese food. And have my mom over. Maybe my renter will join us. Maybe somebody from work will join us. Yeah, avoid touching those purple or pink skull blocks, because that will make a Grim Reaper come out and he will follow you. Kind of reminiscent of Bubble Bobble with the skeleton thing that follows you if you take too long. And now we have another boss battle. This is Scissors Head. And we'll play a game of Janken. And I think this was scissors and paper that we will select. Yeah. You wait until the time runs out, and you will beat him. See, he changed to paper, and scissors cuts paper, so I won that one. If you end up losing, 2 matches against this guy, then you will turn into stone, and then you will die. And he lost. Later on in the game, the bosses will become sore losers, and they will attack you in some way, and we'll look at that later. This is not the ideal stage to use the Suko Paco motorcycle, because there will be opportunities to fall on spikes with your bike, and we collect that staff, and that staff is cool. That staff will allow you to float for a short time. You'll be able to float through the air. Yeah, you have to be really careful. See, there's a lot of spikes you can land on. And there'll be... crap. See. You'll lose your bike, and you'll fall on the spikes and die. And that's game over. But again, if you hold up when it says game over and press the second button 8 times, you will get to continue as long as you have 800 bombs. And we'll look at what some of these things do. And again, I think that's just a ring, and I think that might let you jump higher. I can't remember for sure. But we'll also look at some other things, and that is the what is that? That's protect. Is that a protective barrier? No. This makes 8 copies of Alex, 8 miniatures that can fight enemies for you. And there is also one that says B, and that makes a protective barrier for a short time. And here's that. It's a psychic wand, but it lets you float through the air for a while. You're not invincible, I don't believe. But it doesn't last very long. I think you can punch while you're using it. The boss at the end here, you can go through his legs, but you need to punch him enough while that annoying guy is throwing something at you, and then you can collect the rice ball to go to the next stage. And at the start of this stage, you get a speedboat. It's kind of cool. But if it hits a red block, then you get dropped down to the water, or under the water. Yeah, again, those question mark blocks may hold something bad. They might hold the Grim Reaper in them, so I normally stay away from those. But they can give you other things. They might give you another ring. That again, I think that gives you a higher jump or something. And there's that frog guy that you can punch multiple times to kill. And there was that rice ball. And I'm just scooting forward now to different parts of the game. Here's another opportunity to buy the pedicopter on this stage. But there are a total of 17 stages. And while we're flying the pedicopter, there will sometimes be clouds that fire lightning down at you. And again, the pedicopter allows you to shoot away the blocks, and you can shoot enemies too. You can't shoot the gray rocks. See? And at the end of this stage, you face Paperhead. And again, eventually they will be sore losers, the bosses, and they will attack you if you beat them twice. You just have to beat them 2 times out of 3. And this was rock and then scissors that you want to use to beat them. And you'll see a little black circle under where it says Alex. That means that you won a match, and it'll say X if you lost a match. Yeah, they're not sore losers yet. So I collect the rice ball, and I think that's cute seeing him sit there and happily eat the rice ball. And this is the first castle. We're not going to look throughout, but yeah, there's that Grim Reaper I uncovered. Yeah, this is fairly labyrinthine. We're just going to look at a couple areas. See that fist icon? I think it's a fist, or maybe it's a fish. But you want to punch it multiple times sometimes to make things happen. And here we release my my brother, Igul, the ruler of Radaxian. And there's a letter somewhere in this castle that you need to find. And this is the boss of this castle. And there's another castle later on called the Janken Castle, or Janken Castle. And here you have to face Stonehead. And use... was it paper and paper? Yeah, paper and paper against him. And he will be a sore loser. He will attack you with I can't remember what he does, but he tries to attack you in some way, and you have to beat him. Darn it, I lose. Well, it looks like that's the way it's meant to be. Okay, take this. So he attacks you with his head. His head flies around, and you have to punch it enough times. I think just like 3 times here. Later on, their attacks get more difficult to avoid. And there I collect the rice ball and get the hell out of that castle. I don't know what the hell that thing that down there is, that little statue of somebody. But that's the effects of my psychic cane wearing off. And at the end of this stage, you face Scissorhead, or Scissor's Head. And we use rock and rock. And we'll see his sore loser form after we beat him here. Yeah, this is a cute game. Good idea, but boy, the controls are tough. Well, looks like that's the way it's meant to be. Okay, take this. And his head comes off and attacks you. And his body attacks you too. His body shoots some sort of beam at you. You need to jump over the beams and attack the head. You just kind of look at the... scooting forward a bit. You just kind of look at the pattern of the flying head, and you should be able to attack it without too much trouble. And Yeah, you have to be really careful. That green area there, you can fall in and die. We're scooting forward. But this gets a little tricky trying to maneuver. Collect the rice ball at the end. And this is the second castle. This is the Janken Castle. And this is very, very labyrinthine. You have to recover the moonlight stone. And you take a stone slab that you will need at the end of the game. And there it is. And you will need to use those symbols at the end of the game from right to left, vertically. I mean, that. We'll look at that a little bit later. But at the end of this next stage, after you get out of that castle there, then you will face this guy. What was he called? Handhead, or maybe it was Stonehead. I can't remember. But here you need to use rock and then scissors, I think. Yeah, rock and then scissors to beat this guy. But the characters had alternate names. Can't remember what they were called. And here he's a sword loser, and his head flies off in a weird pattern. Now you can stay at the far left and attack his head when it comes to you, because it won't go all the way to the left. Or you can just inch up behind his body and hit the hand when it comes by enough times. And we'll get the rice ball and continue on. Now is when you go into the Janken Castle. Earlier we just saw the king of the castle. I can't remember for sure, but this is so long. Those type of floors will open up, so watch out. We will skip forward in a minute to different areas of this castle. But sometimes there will be a panel that has it was either a fish or a fist on it that you'll need to punch multiple times. Watch out for those type of areas. You will die if you get. Are those sprinklers? You will die if the sprinkler water reaches you. So yeah, you need to punch that. You need to punch that icon multiple times to open up the wall so that you can get there. And there's a barrier that you can get from the B-lettered icon, a protective barrier, and it won't protect you from the sprinklers. And there will sometimes be descending walls or descending ceilings of spikes. And yeah, you can slide and duck and get in these tight areas and inch forward or backward very slowly. But here is the Janken King of the castle. And you have to fight him. And he is also a sore loser if you beat him twice. And you use paper twice here. And once you beat him with the Janken game, you have to jump and punch his head 3 times. And I think he shoots some sort of beam at you or something. But once you beat him, it's not over. You still have to go to another area. Yeah, you have to avoid the bouncing beams and then punch his head 3 times. And he turns to stone, and you can collect that icon there. And then you can go up here And this is some sort of princess. I can't remember her name right off the top of my head. But you'll want to drop down into the water here. And this is the last area of the game. You'll have collected both stones that you need. Here is where you need to use that tablet. You read the icons from the far right going down to the left and insert them in this sequence. And you need to put in sun, waves, moon, star, sun, moon, waves, fish, star, and fish. And then you can get that crown at the top left. And this is the ending of Alex Kidd in Miracle World. And the characters, the alternate names for Stonehead, Paperhead, and Scissors Head, respectively, are Goseka the Slippery, Parplin the Pursuer, and Chokina the Sly. But yeah, they get to be sore losers after the first few guys that you face. Well, that is the end of Alex Kidd in Miracle World, released in Japan in 1986 and in America in 1987. Well, that was Alex Kidd in Miracle World, released in 1986 in Japan for the Sega Master System. This is game number 12 in R20 from the Sega Master System series. Well, I hope you join me sometime soon for game number 11. Take it easy, everybody, and enjoy the Super Bowl. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you later, folks. Bye-bye.